good morning. True Blue Tide here from Thailand. Hope you're doing well. Since it's one at it Sunday. And as you can hear, we have front on rain. And so for instance, and the neighbours are all in, so if you hear a bit of noise, so I do apologise. But so the rain feels the way I feel. Okay, I wasn't going to do a stream today, but I've got to do it. Honestly, I've got to muster the strength to do it, and because I feel really bad. I feel like the rain, and so I feel really bad, and so for instance, and I think what bothers me the most is the fact that sometimes I want to win as a football fan, as a as a supporter of Manchester City. I want to win, okay, but I want to win mainly because two reasons. One, because I'm a Man City fan and I want to win. The second reason is because if we don't win, and the haters and everybody will, want to stick, into Manchester City, and I am totally not even thinking about listening to anything about TalkSport. Some so-called City fan went on TalkSport last night. I can understand who's upset and angry, but they don't care about you, right? That's why I urge City fans not to do this. And somebody went over there and then said, we need to sell Erling Haaland. And it's on a YouTube thumbnail now. City fan wanted Erling Haaland out. It's like they want you to phone in to gripe, moan. And then what they want you to do, so for instance, so they can find out the best and the most juiciest call and put it on their thumbnail and get paid a load of money for it, as people click on it. Okay. And also, for instance, get people to think what they want, so when you gripe at something, gripe to City fans, gripe to, doing something like what I'm doing here, or, but don't go on to national radio stations and gripe about Manchester City if you're a City fan, etc. Because quite honestly, they use it against us, and they don't use it for us. They're not our mates. They're not our bezies, whatever. They're the evil people, for instance, who make money out of us. Okay, so you don't go onto that crappy radio station because they don't care about you. They're all Man United fans or Southern-based fans. They don't give a crap about you. So why Man City fans go on there constantly and, for instance, talk up, belittle the club, and why come out with a stupid statement like Haaland needs to go? And that's crazy. Absolute madness. Man scored 30 goals this season. 30. And he's having a bad season. And he can't help if he doesn't get the service. If he doesn't get the service, then he doesn't score the goals. So, for instance, it's going to take a couple of days for me to talk about this, but let's go through it. Look at the stats. 78% Man City, 22% Crystal Palace, 7 shots on target, 1 shot off, 7 shots for Man City, 1 for Crystal Palace, 6 on target for Man City, 2 on target for Palace, 1 they scored with. 7-1 on corners for City, 7-7 on fouls. I thought, yellow cards 5-1 for City, and I think that was towards the end. 7-1 on offsides for them. So what's it called? So they basically, to watch the game, and I saw the highlights this morning, and it was just all City, and they got that one. You can actually count on your hand how many chances Palace got. It was the goal they scored. Okay, we'll put them into the thumb. Then the offside thing, goal, which was clearly offside, right? There was the chance, etc. in the second half just after they scored. I think they had another chance in the second half, and that's about it. For instance, but it's and the rest of it is just let's see what Southampton did. We'll just put 10 men at the back and wait as much time as possible. Claim as many head injuries as possible. For instance, and then Dean Henderson can cheat as much as possible. for instance, by delaying the ball. And yeah, so for instance, but yeah, that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. Is it up to City? Yes, partly it is. Well, it is. For instance, to score the goal and to create more, to do more. It is difficult what's to go when you got 11 men in the box. For instance, but and you know I can what Pep was saying. I can get what Pep was saying. But yeah, for instance, just a difficult. Sorry, mosquitoes. Yeah, it was just difficult to let's break it down a little bit. Okay, the penalty. The penalty, regardless of what I was listening to on the TV. Oh well, Bernardo Silva went down before the penalty. It was a penalty, right? Okay, but it was a penalty. So, for instance, it was just ridiculous. Looks like Bernardo was going before the penalty. It was a penalty. Should Mamouche have scored? Well, Mamouche he's been. When Mamouche got the penalty, Ireland gave the Mamouche the ball. I was kind of like saying, well, he's got a bit of confidence. He's playing well. For instance, it didn't bother me too much. Mamouche was getting the ball. I was just disappointed with his penalty. It wasn't a great penalty, and Ireland had a opportunity to score afterwards, but he never did. But yeah, it was. So I don't. Pep said it was something they did on decide on the pitch. Whether it was a good decision, I don't know. Whether it was a long time, whether it was waiting to think about the penalty before the penalty was struck. So yeah, so you've got that. Yeah, so that was crazy. The next one was what's it called? The blatant hand outside the penalty area. Penalty area. Now you can dress it up as much as you like. You can say the ball was going. The reason why the ball was it was delivered a handball outside the box, but the VAR said, and this is why VAR is absolutely crazy. It's something about the direction of the ball went across. That's the reason why they didn't give it. It's a foul, regardless of I just don't understand why they want to quibble with the rules. If you handle outside the box, it's a red card. Simple as that. That's the reason why you have the box. So, because that's where the penalty goalkeeper's area is, and when you go outside of the box, and he handles the ball outside of the box, it's a red card. Okay, and it's so. Why is it suddenly now being put as a it's because of the direction of the ball, because of what? Come on. And also some of the views shown on the TV cameras. The first was always the one either one behind the back of the goal, which you can behind the back of Henderson, which you couldn't distinguish. There was one towards the side, which you couldn't see. It was not until the one you saw directly on or side on before you can clearly see he ended the ball out of the box, and he prevented a goal scoring opportunity. So it was just ridiculous. Even the commentator, the biased commentator I was listening to, for instance, he said he clearly handled it outside the box. It's unequivocal. It's not even. But why? But the VAR get involved, and suddenly it's not. Oh well, there's a grey area to that rule. Why? It's always been that way. The goalkeeper handles out the box, and for instance, that's it. And now suddenly VAR getting involved, and suddenly it's not a penalty anymore. The sending off. For instance, the goal scoring opportunity. It's just I heard at best, it should have been a yellow card and a direct free kick, at best. But what did we get? Nothing, 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 nothing. So there you go. So it's just ridiculous. I just sit here and think, oh, what, you're joking me? The wasting time, the head injuries, the trainer who came onto the pitch, for instance, and our trainer went up to him and whatever, for instance, trying to slow down the game, to stop the game, these tactics, this bad football. We had it with Southampton, no, we had it with Palce, and yes, Manchester City need to score the goals, as Pep says. Yes, we need to score the goals. But if we can't, if we're not going to For instance, if they're not going to play the game properly, for instance, and yes, it's their first game, and Man City are a better team, and la la la, and you've got to do what you got to do, and cheat basically. And if it's okay to cheat as long as you cheat, And a Liverpool friend of mine said, it's basically, for instance, it's like the difference between Newcastle and the Liverpool game. It's like and everybody's favouring poor old Palace, and they've never won anything, and first time they've ever done something. So, and it's all nice and it's all romantic and the underdog against the evil Manchester City. But if you're going to play the game, play it in decency. Play it. I remember when Sunderland won it, for instance, and they played it with a gentlemanly spirit. They played it with. They deserved to win it because they did what they did. What's it called? They played the game of football, and that wasn't a game of football. Okay, putting 11 men behind the back of the ball, faking injuries, trainers coming on, duping the ref, for instance. It was just too much. It's just, and I'm really sorry for the 33,467 who went down there. Even the guy, for instance, mate, was called from the Thailand. He went. He went all the way from Bangkok, all the way to Thailand, to Wembley. So there with his scarf, travel all that way to be cheated, and that's what you feel like. You feel like at the end of the day you've been cheated. And you could call me bitter, you could call me whatever, but I'm sorry. I just feel that, for instance, the teams don't come to play football. They come to do whatever they can to waste time, cheat, get that one goal, and then just hang on for dear life. It's just it just drives you crazy. It just does. And I feel sorry for Kevin De Bruyne, for instance, as well. We didn't give him a good send off. The Echeverry coming on, etc. I thought it was a good idea. A good idea. For instance, why not? But I'm just. I'm upset. For instance, I'll be better tomorrow. For instance, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. But I just find that, for instance, if you're going to win a game, win it properly. For instance, regardless, and should have Man City played more? Yes. The side-to-side passing, maybe, for instance, but we did create a lot. We had Erling Haaland in the first half, etc. Could have got on one. Doku had a great shot. It was saved by Henderson. Good save. For instance, we had plenty in the second half. Echeverry could have scored a goal, for instance, but did we do enough to win it? I think we didn't do enough not to win it. I think at least we did enough to score a goal, to have a draw, to take it to extra time. But I was worried about extra time because of Tuesday. But but I do believe, for instance, we had we did enough to get a draw. To basically, for instance, to force a draw or a forced extra time. I thought give us credit for that. For instance, we weren't crap. There's a lot of people coming out and saying how bad Man City played, but I'm sorry, Crystal Palace can defend for their lives, score one goal, defend for their lives. Okay, they scored an offside goal, but it was offside regardless. You could, and then basically do nothing, cheat, fall down, delay the whatever you can, for instance, and get away with bloody murder. If it was to go with the handball, a hand ball outside of the area, for instance. Yeah. So, but if you want to sit there and say Palace played the better than Man City, then I think you're totally mistaken. We did play okay. For instance, we didn't. Again, it's playing against 11 men, and all these people, for instance, who's bagging on Man City, even Man City fans at the moment. For instance, I think you look at the bigger picture and you got to say, okay, so it's very difficult to do that. These guys were putting their heart, it's a massive thing for them. So, but yeah, it's disappointing. I'm disappointed. I'll talk better tomorrow about it. What's it called? And when dust stuff settled and I feel better with myself. Yeah. So chickens. Always here when I'm doing a video. I don't mind him being here, but it's going to be talkadoodaloo. What's it called? Oh, so much. Anyway, yeah. So I'm a little bit down. I do apologise. Sorry, Gab. Sorry for that. And you can understand how I feel, but I do feel a bit cheated in not, if you're going to lose to a decent, good football team, and as Pep Guardiola says, when he was talking about in his press conference about Barcelona and the good football, and not to kind of a cheating. What do you want, you? For instance, not to a get some rice over there. But yeah, not to a cheats. Anyway, so sorry about that. Anyway, so I'll speak to you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be a bit more better in my head. And but yeah, you can understand how I'm feeling at the moment today. But see till we die, for instance, and we'll be back. I'm looking for. We've got we got Bournemouth to look forward to. Shane Kovacic was injured, or I think he would have made a difference. But anyway, never mind. 1-0 is 1-0. It's not like we'd lost. Got stuffed over. But anyway, I'll speak to you tomorrow. So, sorry to get from Thailand.